Hello, and welcome to this video. I am in my journey in Christ, my Christian journey. I have been reading a book by Mattheiu Pageau, The Language of Creation, Cosmic Symbolism in Genesis, and through this book or by this book, I've been made aware of a pattern which has really helped me in my faith. And in this video, I would like to share this pattern with you to help you in your faith. Because this was, I really appreciated getting to know this pattern. And I think it's one of the, fundamental patterns in reality, and is like described in the Bible. And and I think this pattern, it reminds me or helps you with focus and having the proper focus. Because in the most basic sense, like, what should you focus on? And I think, and the question is like, what should you focus on? And you should focus on how to solve the most fundamental problem in reality, or in your reality. And this fundamental problem is described through the Cain and Abel story. And this Cain and Abel story is fundamentally, or it could be said, it's fundamentally about how to connect the body and head pattern in the right order. And the right order to connect this pattern is in through Christ. And through Christ, this process, because the head and body is like the parts of DNA strings. Yeah, you have two DNA strings, DNA strings, and when you connect these two strings together, you gain a process, you gain life. And as Christian, we are reminded of this pattern, and that we should have the right focus in order to connect these two patterns in the right order by the communion, where the bread and wine represents this pattern, the head and body pattern, or the Abel and Cain pattern. And Christ is the correct way to do a thing, or to have the correct attitude, or to connect it in the right way. And part of this is love. But in order to fully understand Christ, we as humans can't really do that, because Christ is God and God is perfection. But we try to estimate, we try to be Christ-like. And to become Christ-like is to study Christ and be like Christ. And when you are like Christ, you are able to connect this body and head pattern in the right order, in the right way. And by doing this, by connecting these two things in the right order, we gain life. And in the next slide, I will show you what I mean by this, by showing you the different patterns or sub-patterns in a day-to-day life. To try to, because this pattern is what's called a fractional pattern. And a fractional pattern is a pattern that it goes from the big to the very small, and it's like a repeating pattern, because it's a repeating pattern. So they say that like a proper fundamental pattern is a pattern that's true in all levels of existence. So it's true from the very big to the very small. Okay, so what are these patterns? Okay, so here in this slide, we see examples of the different patterns. And we see the head and the body and life. So one, like a really basic example is if you picture yourself or your own body. So your own body consists of a head, and it consists of your body. Or you as an individual. You as an individual consists of a head and a body, and together is you as an individual, and you have life. You do stuff in the world, in the real world. If the head and the body is connected in the right order. Because if it's not connected in the right order, then you will have death. And this is with the Cain and Abel story, that Cain and Abel wasn't connected together in the right order, and then Cain killed Abel. And you can see this in the head and body, because if the head, like your brain, like the thoughts in your head, like your soul, if this doesn't take proper care of your body, like your physical body, by giving it the right food, the right exercise, the right stimulation. If you like drink chlorine and smoke and do really like drive too fast on your motorcycle, and if you do unhealthy things to your body, then your body might give up. And when your body gives up, then it will kill the head, like it will kill your soul, like your soul doesn't have any body to live in anymore. So you're dead. So it's important that the head treats the body in the right order and the right way. And this, you can use Christ, you can study Christ to properly take care of your body, and you should treat yourself with love. You should eat the right things, and do exercise and be nice to your body. So if you do this, then you have life. Then you can be up in the mountain and dance and sing and be happy. And a different pattern, a sub pattern, is like if you want to take your family out on a trip in your car, then you need to treat your car with the proper love. You need to give your car the right fluids, like you need to give it right, you need to give it gasoline and oil and coolants and all of that stuff, tires. And if you give the car the right treatment, the right service, then the car will support you. So the body will support your brain, and it will give power to your brain, because your brain can now move about in the world and do stuff. The same thing with the car. It will give you the power. It will be able to move your family out on trips in the countryside, because you and the car is connected through the proper order, and the proper order is in Christ. The same thing with a really big pattern. So that's like with in a country, you have the government and you have the people. So if the people feels like the government loves them, the people will give the proper respect to the government. And proper respect is to give taxation and resources to the government, and then the government will use those resources to produce a good society. But it's through the people and the government together in Christ that you have a really good society for all men or all people. So you have a process that's alive. And the same thing in your work life. So you have the boss and the worker. So if the worker feels like the boss really loves him, then the worker will give respect to the boss. So if the worker feels like the boss gives him the proper tools and the proper pay and the proper time schedules, like doesn't stress him, he will respect his boss and will execute the orders from his boss, because the boss here, you can see it's an architect, and the architect have the proper information, because the head, it has the information on how to do a thing. So when you construct a rocket, it needs to be constructed in the right order. If it's not constructed in the right order, then it will fail to work. So in order to construct the rocket in the right order, the worker has to really respect the authority, like the information given by the boss. And the worker will only do this if he feels like he's properly loved by the authority. But if you, so this is like, if those two are joined in the right order in Christ, then you will get a good result. Then you will get a lovely house, or a properly constructed rocket that will take man to Mars. So, yeah. And the same pattern is between a husband and a wife. So if the husband treats the wife with love and the wife treats the husband with the proper respect, then they will form a family and there can be produced babies. And in a more concrete example of the information authority matter power dynamic, then you have in the old symbolism, like the man, his seed has the information on how to produce a baby. It's like the drawings, architect drawings, that he gives to his wife, and the wife takes these drawings, the seed, and through matter, by processing matter in the right order, will produce a baby. And on the biggest, highest scale, like the cosmic scale, you have God and Earth. And when God and Earth is merged together in the right order, then we get a lovely reality with a lovely night sky, and yeah. And all of these patterns, again, I feel in communion, like I'm reminded of all of these patterns, and that I should have the right focus. And the right focus is through Christ, in how to join these two parts of reality in the right order to produce life. So in the old symbolic way, like bread is made out of flour, and flour is a white fluffy substance. When you blow on it, it will go out in the sky. So it kind of represents the heavenly stuff. And then you have blood, and blood is from the soil, from the earth, with minerals and nutrients. So in blood you have iron, and iron is a mineral. And so it represents the earth, the body. And if those two are joined together, then you gain life. And the same thing with Christ. Like, you get saved, you go to heaven if you have the right attitudes to life. If you are humble and are able to respect the authority of God, then you gain life, you gain salvation. But this is a pattern that is true in all levels of life. So from the highest cosmic to the lowest in yourself. So yeah. So when I saw this pattern, I was really like, blown away. When I was reading Mattheiu Pageau's book, I was like, wow, that was really cool pattern. And then this made more, it gave the Bible more meat. So it gave it more body for me, for my mental process. And so I really appreciated this pattern. And so I would like to do the missionary work. We're called to do missionary work. So this is part of the missionary work. So I would like to just share this, my insight with you, and I hope that you can, you can gain some enjoyment and enrichment, because for me this enriched my Christian life and gave me motivation to study Christ, because I would like to join these two parts of reality together in the right order. So yeah. So I hope you enjoyed my explanation, and and that it was worth your time. So, and I thank you for your time, and God bless. Okay, bye.